Good morning. It's so nice to see everybody here. Such is the nature of life that all it asks and all it wants is the opportunity to appear. You are that opportunity, and so am I. And so it is. And how many of us remember Dr. Kennedy Schultz walking out on the stage and saying that very sentence every single Sunday? I think it took me a while to really understand what that meant, but I get it. Welcome, everyone, to CSL Midtown, coming to you this morning from Atlanta. We are so glad that you have joined us today, and we welcome all people, no matter who you are and where you are in your life. We welcome you to this first of the month in-person celebration, always followed by a fabulous potluck, and today will be preceding the potluck will be a little discussion with the Zoom people, so we're excited about that. And of course, we do welcome all the people who are listening online, either now, live, or if you are listening to a recording of this service. Our center reflects the beautiful diversity and tapestry of life that is everywhere present. So we welcome you, whoever you are and whatever path brought you here today. It's so nice to see some new old faces here this morning in the in-person room. So thank you for coming. We know that you are an individual expression of the divine life in which we all live. You are welcome to participate today and to become a part of this community in whatever way serves you. We hope that those of you who are watching our broadcast on social media platforms such as Facebook or YouTube will like and share this with your friends. For a better understanding of who we are and what we teach, listen now to our Declaration of Principles as written by our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes.
I believe
in one God,
one absolute power and first cause to all things.
I believe that this power is perfect love
and creates out of a desire to express love.
I believe all thought is creative, and how I choose to think creates my personal experience.
I believe in the unity of all life
and the immortality of the individual soul,
forever unfolding.
I believe
in the eternal goodness,
the eternal goodness of God,
the eternal loving kindness,
and the eternal givingness of God to all.
And so it is.
And so it is.
And so it is.
All right. The full declaration is available on our website, cslmidtown.org. My name is Judy Ailey, and I am the moderator and practitioner for today's service. And this morning, I'm excited to say that we have yet another fabulous speaker. She's hardly a guest in that she's spoken here numerous times, and we always look forward to it. And I will introduce her more a little bit later. But as we know, the theme for 2024 is Grand Rising. And today, being the first Sunday in June, we're beginning our monthly theme of Holy Boldness. And this week's theme is called Sacred Audacity. And that brings up the question, at least it did to me, of how spiritually bold am I? Am I fearless and daring in my spiritual work for the improvement of my own life and the life of the world? Or am I just sort of humming along with the same old tune, hoping for the best, but not quite getting to where I'd like to be in my heart of hearts? So I ask the question, are we choosing to live large or to live small? What stretches us? My experience has been that some of the challenges that I have faced in my life have required me to step out in boldness and with a sense of daringness in order to meet the challenge and to kind of move beyond it, to get to the other side of it. So I believe that we can cultivate within ourselves a new sense of spiritual boldness. You know, sometimes I feel small and afraid and full of worry, but what gives me a sense of peace and assurance is that in truth, we are living our lives in partnership with Spirit. And when we realize that there is this partnership, this co-creativeness, then I think we can find the faith and understanding to know that anything and everything is possible. So do we approach with confidence and courage and even persistence, knowing that we will be responded to? Do we have spiritual audacity, the belief and the faith to know that we can create everything and anything that we can conceive of in our minds and hearts? We are the way that Spirit expresses in the world. And I think God's Spirit, whatever word you use to describe this, wants to express through us. God wants us to participate in this co-creative partnership in big, bold ways. God wants to play big with us. It's how the goodness of God gets spread about the world, and it's through each one of us. It's how we run our lives. It's the new ideas we embrace and bring to fruition in the world. But guess what? We have to participate. We have to be willing, enthusiastic participants in this co-creative process. Are we that way? Or sometimes do we hang back as timid types, not really thinking that we're going to have that 100% support of Spirit and all the things that we do? So I'm looking forward to the message this morning from our speaker, knowing that Spirit in life invites us to live with boldness, verb, and the audacity to know that, yes, even me, I am God's perfect opportunity to create big and bold goodness in the world. All right. So with that, I would like to lead us in a spiritual mind treatment, which will be followed by music for reflection. As I offer these words in the first person, please accept this treatment for yourself. All right. Let's just take a moment to relax and to know that God is all there is. This spiritual power, this presence, this oneness, this one united power for good is really all that there is. And that I am, that each one of us is fully immersed in it, filled with it, connected to it, allowing it to express in our lives. This is the truth of who we are, and that at our deepest spiritual heart of heart level, that there is a pattern of perfection and wholeness that we say yes to, that we know that this is the truth of who we are, and that we just know that this world that appears so solid and hard and definite, that it's really a bunch of atoms and molecules moving around. It's totally changeable all the time. And we change it through our belief, through our expectation, through our knowledge that yes, we embrace good and know that this is the truth of who we are. So today, I just allow this presence and this goodness to express through me and through each person here that this CSL Midtown Center is a perfect idea in the mind of God, and that all that is needed for its perfect expression and success in the world is at hand now. I turn away from any idea of struggle, strain, illness, lack, limitation, worry, fear. I turn away from all of those things and instead know that I am bold. I am bold spiritually, knowing that Spirit is there for me 100%, always, only desiring to express through me in greater and greater ways. So I just know that this is my truth. I claim this truth for everyone here and everyone listening to this. And I am so grateful for this opportunity to know this. And I just release this treatment, knowing that it is so, and so it is. All right. Thank you all. I'm going to introduce Reverend Susan Zoller now. She is originally from Louisiana, but she's been in Atlanta since 1977, so that makes her practically a native. She did spend a little bit of time in Maui, Hawaii, as the minister of the Center for Spiritual Living there. And she, in her pre-ministerial life, taught biology, chemistry, and physics in the public school systems of Gwinnett and Cobb County. And her life changed when she walked into the Atlanta Church of Religious Science in 1985 and heard Dr. Kennedy Schultz, as so many of us had a life-changing experience with him. It sparked her lifelong study and dedication to religious science. And currently, she's a staff minister at SLCA, Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta, and she lives with her wife of 25 years and their 2 dogs. And if you see her on Facebook, you always see her cute dogs. They're so cute. Anyway, today we welcome her back to our center with a talk entitled Spiritual Audacity. And if you're online, I hope that you'll join us at cslmidtown.org for the Zoom link to meet Reverend Susan and to participate in our discussion. Please join me in welcoming Reverend Susan Zoller.
Good morning. I love art. This is one of my favorites. Can you see this? Adam and Eve stand here, and behind the tree, there's God with a long puppet on that looks like a snake. And I know that that's what a lot of people think of God as. Can you see this? Well, good. If not, Judy, would you pass this around? Because it has a lot to do. Well, I love art. I really do. I love all kinds of art. My parents were really surprised that I drew and colored when I was a small child. Now, when I say I love all art, let's have a full disclosure. I went to the Pompidou Center in Paris, France. It's modern art. And I actually did say this upon leaving: our dogs can do better than that. And they could. But other than that, I love colors and I love the creativity that they can express. I also love humor, and I especially love comics. I do. Really, who doesn't? And if you are one in that latter camp, I'm sure my enthusiasm more than makes up for your dislike. Cartoons actually involve a lot of higher level thinking to put a message in a very small space, whether it's several panels or one, and to have the art to go with it, because great art really can elevate and it can inspire, but an inadequate illustration can cause people to turn away and not even see what's there. So think of your favorites. Do you anticipate the paper coming out or on the computer to see the day strip? I do. I get so excited. Some of my favorites are Calvin and Hobbes, Bloom County, Doonesbury, and the Far Side. You know who those are? There's some books back there that have at least 3 of the cartoons that I just are comic strips back at the welcome table. You know, cartoons are impacting. They're influential, and they're also really big business. Did you know that? Big, big business, a lot of money. They make us laugh. Sometimes they make us cry. Sometimes they skewer someone or something. And one of the most famous cartoons of all that's been the most that I know of is really, well, at least to me, you may not agree, highly spiritual. And let me set the scene. I couldn't find the picture that I wanted of this, so I'll just set it up in your mind. Desolate desert. There's a scrawny little tree that makes Charlie Brown's Christmas tree look elegant. And sitting on it are 2 vultures. Now, they're hungry. and there's nothing to eat in sight anywhere. And in particular, there's nothing that's just about to kick the bucket because vultures eat carrion or dead meat. It's not looking good for the home team, let's say. So one vulture sizes up the situation and he looks at the other vulture, thinks for a moment, says, "Patience my ass, I'm gonna kill something." He does. That's the exact caption that comes with it. I almost fell off a kitchen stool laughing when I saw that. I did. And you may be wondering, what in the world, Susan, does this have to do with today's talk? I mean, really? Well, it's especially applicable to this month's theme, as you know, Judy said, holy boldness, and today's topic, which is sacred audacity. So in thinking about that, let's think of how we were taught to think of God as children. Now, a lot of people don't like that word God, and they have their reasons for it. And if you listen to some of them, you'll hear them. So things like, I was going to go to hell if I didn't please him. As a child, I was beaten over the head with religion. And I've heard many gay men say this in the past. God hates me. God just hates me. Now, let's assume that that vulture is a typical adult in today's society who sees, hears, and experiences conflict, scarcity, healthcare crises, crime, political division, and deceit. It's everywhere. It's in the news. It's on the television. It's talked about. So is it a surprise that that average vulture or person would feel somewhat helpless and perhaps hopeless? Rather than view the government as an answer, a lot of people view it as the problem. Now, the fellow I mentioned earlier, Mr. Vulture, let's just optimistically call him Mr. Tweety. He feels the need to change. He's going to go out and he's going to make it happen. Even if he has to force a situation, he won't let it unfold. He's got to do something. There's no reason to trust. And he steps out of his normal vulture expectations because he's going so far as to attempt to create carrion to eat. Well, I might say to him, now you have faith, Tweety, come on. And he looks at us and says, where is God when children are dying? With war or hunger, or when our government passes unwanted laws, allowing people to go without or die, when people are despised and even tortured for simply loving someone. So good question. Where is God? As for faith, how were we taught to view God? As children, we came up because that makes such an impression. We were taught that God is supposed to love us, care for us, and provide for us. We are its creations. Notice the he in all these. Most world religions focus on a male deity. Some folks don't like the name God, but not to worry. There are so many names for God, I won't even try to say it. It's just endless. Yahweh, Elohim, Allah. There's so many to choose from. But what I know is regardless of the location, every culture projects its culture onto their deity. That's right. So many cultures are male-led, so therefore God or the deity, him. So if you have a problem with the culture, you're probably really going to have a problem with the deity. Yeah. So how many of us were taught to be God-fearing because God-fearing was a good person, a good American, a good quote-unquote Christian, because that's what we were taught was the foundation of our country. was good Christians. That's not so. Most of the founding fathers were deists, which does not make me very popular when I say that, but it's true. Spirit taught in multiple religions was one to be feared. It ordered killing of infants, demanded animal sacrifice, and sent nasty plagues, if you can think of them, to people who displeased this deity. So who would want to meet this God? Really? I would tremble in my boots if I was sent there. It'd be worse than going to the principal's office. It would. With the descriptions that I have just shared with you, would you want your child to go stay with God for an afternoon? I don't think so. The Supreme Being sounds more like a candidate for a tribunal. Do you agree? You can speak. It's okay. How many of us were taught, that image of God? For me, God was 50 feet tall, sitting in a very uncomfortable 40-foot tall gold throne, sandals, long sandy colored robe, long white hair, long white beard. And God knows I did not want to think about anything further than that. What's under God's robes is God's business, was my feeling about it. But that's what many of us had. And God is up away from us in the sky someplace. But the New Testament actually gave us a different picture of God, if you're familiar with the Bible. God here is a loving father. As one child said, God sure got a lot nicer after he had children. Because Jesus, the master teacher, brought a whole new way of looking at spirit. Now, the foundation of religious science, or science of mind, teaches that there is a divine intelligence that is the creator of all that was, is, and ever will be. And most importantly, that includes us. You and I are the creations of the divine. We're not separate. We're part of that, with all the rights and privileges and issues that brings up. Religious science does not believe that we are brought here to please some deity. This divine intelligence is present everywhere, all the time, and always accepts our thoughts and feelings and emotions and creates accordingly. And that's a major point. Creates accordingly. There is no retribution from a big person in the sky, or however someone pictures God. There is no flunky legion of angels out there taking notes on everything I do with human body parts, who knows, to go report to the big guy, to tattle on me. No, that just doesn't happen. Because we are expressions. We are divine expressions of the Most High. We're highly individualized, but we're still part of the one individual that encompasses everything. We're not separate. And physics has proved this. You go down on a level and, you get smaller and smaller. All there is vibrating energy. There's so much space between that. If we could just see it with our eyes, but it's too small. And that can always be reconfigured. Evaluation, and regardless of religious belief or life experiences. Now, many of us were taught, I really dislike this one, the meek shall inherit the world. The meek shall inherit the earth. I didn't consider myself meek, and I was a little offended to be left out, but that you and I should fear God, or at the very least show profound respect for this God, this great Father in the sky, as we were taught. If it be His will, our desires and wants will be granted. But if not, too bad, tough luck. Find a way to deal with it. That's all there is. You better do something to get in His good graces so you can get what you want. We were taught that religion is a set of rules that you have to live by to be a good person. I know a lot of people, my parents included, you had to do these things in order to be good. Why exactly they couldn't tell you, but that's the criteria. You have to be good. Well, okay, if all else fails, there's patience my ass, I'm going to kill something. If we do not believe in the promises we were taught, such as ask and it is given, knock and the door shall be opened, well, better do something, which I refer as the gonna kill something, to create a better life. Gonna kill something represents a disbelief that we will have prayers answered, that we will be provided for. And so it is a lack of faith. It says there's no reason for faith, that we have to make things happen. Absolutely. Use your will and get what we want. We have to make it. How many of you ever felt that way? Just me, I knew it. Okay. Let's tell the truth. How many of us ever felt that way? Okay, I see some of you not raising your hands. We'll talk later. But thankfully, this is not so. The mystics of the world's religions have all taught oneness, unity. A mystic is one who rises up above the dogma of a religion and sees a greater view. And that's what they see, is this oneness, this love. There are no rules to follow, no membership requirements. Each of us is the child of spirit. And we're not here to cower before our Creator. Some people think they have to. What I think of as the meek. Oh God, please, if it be your will, if I'm not too bad, if I haven't sinned too much, can I please fill in the blank? It's not that way. God, who is not a big person, capital B, capital P, but rather an infinite energy field which is always responding to us. Ask, and it is indeed given. Nothing is withheld from us. There need be no negotiation or supplication. It's an honor giving. God always says yes, but what we have to do is claim what we want, claim what we're praying about. There's no begging required, and this ultimate universal inner field is how I think of God, by the way, is always creating without judgment. No one's up there and no little angel is poking God to say, Susan didn't really mean it. She didn't mean to say that or be rude or whatever other various big sin she can take. A lot of people think they have all done the ultimate sin. But when you ask them what it is, every person has a different answer for what unforgivable thing they have done. But as we think and feel and act and even believe, even if we don't know we believe it, that field is responding to us. Absolutely. This is prayer. It's not just some letter to God. This is the way I used to think of it, as our Father is very, dear John. And it ends with, very truly yours is amen. It's not like that. We're always praying. We're always emitting energy. And we are very powerful transmission stations. Absolutely. Without judgment. Just accepts it. Now, every wave of energy we emit goes out and gets responded to. And you think, oh, I thought a thought. I thought a negative thought. Oh, no, I'm thinking a thought about thinking negative. Oh, that's not what it is. If it's a one little thought, I don't think that's going to make a big ripple. But it's the overall average of our thought, of our feeling, of our belief system. Is it possible to think something once and have everything change? Yes, it is. But we have to totally accept, totally embody and take in on a cellular level and subatomic that which we are thinking. I think things can change in a heartbeat. I've read of examples, and I know that it's possible. But if we want different results, we have to have different experiences by creating different thoughts and beliefs and acting differently. In other words, we have to pray differently. Well, that might be a problem for some of us. In other words, we're going to change our vibratory pattern. We are going to have to keep our vision high. Think of this. If you were on a ship and you're the captain and you want to go 5 miles that way, and you tell all the people and all the sailors have to do what you say. March forward 5 steps. March. Turn to your right, march 10 steps. No. Turn to your left and go 15 steps. No, never mind. Back up. Where do you think that ship is going to go? In circles, stay in the same place, or even regress? Because that's the way it is with our thoughts sometimes. We think, I know that all my needs are met, but how in the world am I going to pay the gas bill? How in the world am I going to be able to have a different medical situation? It's that 10 steps forward, 10 steps left, 10 steps right. But when we keep our vision still, when we focus on our goal, everything changes. Don't get caught up in the drama and the details of situations. Now, yes, you may have to deal with those situations. I'm not saying we just simply sit there and go, I am a thinker of great thoughts. Nothing affects me. I do not have a broken arm, even though it's hanging by my side and useless. No, we deal with the world, but what we do is deal as a basis of what we know to be spiritual truth. Absolutely. It doesn't mean that everything is just suddenly going to be hunky-dory. No, it's not true. And when something happens, we don't even have to know all the things to do. We have to be open to knowing them. And I believe when we're firm with our goal, we will be shown what to do. Absolutely. You can only go as far as your flashlight puts out light, but with every step you take, that light extends also. And I think that's the way it is with our guidance. Sometimes we may know everything. J.K. Rowling, who wrote the Harry Potter book, said it all came to her in an instant in a coffee shop in Edinburgh. And she knew. Well, that's really something else. But I don't have that experience very often. It's more of a process. And recently I spoke with a friend who is trained in religious science, went all the way through, I believe, the ministerial program. And he was asking me, how do I deal with a person who is pressuring me to become a Christian and have to believe a certain way? And what do you think about it? And I stopped him. I said, it doesn't matter. He said, what? It doesn't matter. What matters is in your consciousness and my consciousness at any moment. You don't have to convince someone else. You don't have to convert them. We have to take care of our own consciousness, which is also called by Ken Schultz Center, as you know. Mind our own business. He said it should be the 13th commandment. Mind our own business. Care of your own consciousness. And from that place, take action. Not just, oh, I better go over here. How many of us just want to go over and fix something right away? I've never been known to do it, but I have read of others who do. How can I deal with someone who has a different set of beliefs than me and are trying to force them on me? Know that the universe is conspiring for our good. And when something comes up, can we, instead of getting all involved, view it as information and affirm that we know somewhere within us what to do, and it emerges now? Does that change things? It does for me, and we have to keep focusing. And then he said, but my family, I said, it doesn't matter. But this bill came in after I treated, doesn't matter. What matters is what you choose to hold in consciousness. The government will anchor your own self in peace and love and knowing justice, because the government does not determine our experience. Our consciousness does. And I'll say that again. No matter what side of the political spectrum you're on, the government is not determining your experience. Your beliefs, your feelings, your actions, they are, because they're getting reflected back to us as the event of our lives. You know, the facts are the facts, at least for that moment, because facts change all the time. It is much more effective to go to the place that creates the facts that are in our physical world than to keep diddling around with this or that or the other in our physical world. It's like going to a mirror, seeing ink on the face that's reflected, and keep wiping the mirror, but the ink doesn't go away. Go to that place within that is creative, that is always said yes to. Absolutely. You know, this is spiritual audacity. You know, clearly and deliberately speak your truth. Teach yourself to believe differently. I told myself once, you know, it's kind of like saying, I'm going to wake up 5 minutes before the alarm clock goes off, and you do. Well, tell yourself to notice when you're thinking something in opposite of what you are affirming. Absolutely. I was working on something and I decided I would notice every time. And my word, was I shocked at how much I was. You know, it's like that person is always trying to lose that same 20 pounds, but then a Twinkie calls out. Or I really like to have a good financial situation, but there's a new shirt on sale at Macy's. And I know people who are like that. They just have to go for something. And I ask myself, when I am in that place, what am I going for? I'm going for immediate gratification to make me feel good for the moment, but it doesn't really address the issue. In fact, quite often it compounds it. You know, it does. So quit messing around with what if, and this happened, and he said, she said. If it's not in alignment with your true desires, let it go. But the first thing is to notice when you're doing it, because it's like a fish in the ocean who says, what water? We're so used to believing something that we don't even realize we believe it. I had something recently, I realized every time I was thinking a brick in the wall of what I did not want, I didn't even realize it. And all of a sudden, we were doing a meditation the other night in an online group from church, and it came to me, let go of your own bonds. Let go of what is binding you, because it's self-imposed. Absolutely. This doesn't involve any manipulation of another person, any harm to another person, and it doesn't involve control. It will happen naturally. It's the God-given power we were born with, that we are entitled with, that is always with us and always available. You know, we were not born to be, as I said earlier. Some have more outgoing personalities than others, but it doesn't matter. Whatever is your way to live larger and greater, it can be yours. It is yours on some dimension if it's claimed. So let us claim and focus our energy and create through inspired ways, not just from ordinary conscious thinking, that we can have better health, better finances, more love in our life. We can create that which we want, that great job or that perfect place to live for us. Absolutely. We use that power to have more and better for not just us. It's not just all self-centered. But as we raise our consciousness, each of us adds to the consciousness of the world. You know, we have clean air, clean water, food, and shelter for everyone. It absolutely is. We have to stop believing that it isn't. And we need to take inspired action. I'm telling you, you go within, get quiet, and I can help you with this at some other time to see how to do it and see what we need to know. It's just like the other night. It shocked me that I was binding myself. And yet there it was right in front of me. It is possible to have peace on this earth. It is the belief that it's not possible that keeps it creating itself over and over and over again. You know, because how many of us change our mind, but we change it back to the exact thing we were thinking before? I've never done it, but I think I may have. But, you know, I do love me some art. Art in all its forms is really divine creativity. And sometimes a picture transports me to a whole different level. On a daily basis, I do read the comics. Calvin and Hobbes inspire me to see things differently. Satchel Fuzzy, and if you don't look at him, renews my love of innocence. Zonker from Doonesbury reminds me we don't have to grow old just because we are older. Now, Burke Breathed, who does Doonesbury, Pulitzer Prize for editorial cartooning in 1987. This was after he just lost his first published artwork job. He made a cartoon about a court-imposed busing order for the community, and it was met with outrage. His published strip was at the University of Texas, and it got the attention of the editors of the Washington Post, who offered him a syndicated nationally strip. So in 1980, Bloom County came to be, and the rest is history. All those people who told children, quit sitting around drawing, you're never going to make any money, you're not going to do anything with it, will pay attention, because Burke is internationally famous. And Mike Lukovich, Atlanta's cartoonist for the AJC, moved me to tears when John Lewis died. There was a picture of John Lewis at the pearly gates, and he was met with the words, "Oh, thou good and faithful servant." It gives me chills even today. You know, whether you're an artist, an engineer, or an inmate in the Atlanta jail, we all have equal access to God, no qualifiers, available to everyone. So when you and I want to have greater experience, let's remember, he said, she said, they said, it doesn't matter. Mind your own business, tend to your, but a law passed that pay attention to your own thoughts. Be part of creating a more just and loving world from inspiration rather than anger. Or how about somebody just shut up a gay club in Orlando, or a movie theater in Aurora, Colorado, or a synagogue in Pittsburgh? We're going to feel what we're going to feel, but can we go within and meditate and find that peace within us and live it? You may choose to take an action, but it will be different. You might try a little higher level thinking, you know, maybe a little far side, and you can learn the real reasons that dinosaurs became extinct, or learn how to actually and successfully enter the Midvale School for the Gifted. It's all there. Let us smile. Let us remember the joy of life. Let us laugh. Let us lift ourselves up, knowing all this is still going on in the world, because we have that power, and it's wonderful. You know, it's interesting. Faith, audacious faith, is not just a good idea. Really. Blessed be, and so it is. Thank you.
Thank you, Susan.
All right, there we go. Sorry about that. Switching video. Susan was like all over the place. We kept up pretty good, I think. So thank you, Reverend Susan, for that awesome talk. Thank you. So now it's my opportunity for us to talk about prosperity. And with that audacious talk about what is possible, we appreciate everybody in the room, everybody online. We appreciate your contributions. There's a basket in the back of the room for those of you here in person. And we're going to put up on the screen the QR code, and you can go to cslmidtown.org/donate and set up a one-time contribution or an ongoing contribution to support this wonderful work that we have. And here it is. If you will say with me our affirmation of prosperity. I live in a universe of abundance. As I freely and joyfully give, I join in the divine flow, and all that I share with life returns to me multiplied abundantly. And so it is. I'm going to turn it back to Judy for announcements.
Okay. Very briefly, because we go offline at noon. Well, thank you for joining us today. Remember that if you liked what you saw, to share the link for this service with your friends on social media. Also, every Sunday at 10 a.m., we have our adult study group that meets on Zoom. Our group is currently studying the Science of Mind textbook, so you're all invited to join on Sunday for a really great discussion. CSL Midtown is pleased to continue providing our community with excellent Sunday speakers from all over the country. We really have enjoyed hearing these many varied messages and look forward to the same quality messages. So starting next Sunday, we'll be back online, but it's really worth tuning into. We hope that you'll spread the news about our great Sunday speakers with your friends and family. Our next Sunday, we will be back online, as I said, and our speaker will be Reverend Eugene Holden. He'll bring us a talk entitled, I'm All Fired Up. And know that our center is in transition between ministers, so we continue to work towards that. And if you're interested in participating in that and being part of our committee, we certainly invite you to join us in that. Just let us know. So please join us on the Zoom link after the service. That concludes our service, and here is our affirmation of life. I leave this place now knowing something better than I knew before. I go forth into the world with a heart full of love and a mind full of good sense. I look at the world in a greater way, knowing that I have within me everything I need to create the life I desire. I give thanks for this understanding, and I am grateful for the spirit of life that lives through me, and so it is.